Here is a quick tutorial of the IRIS CRM and Zapier integration. By connecting IRIS CRM with your Zapier account, you can automatically perform tasks in IRIS CRM based on trigger events that happen in other apps. For example, when a new deal is created in HubSpot, you can have Zapier create a new lead in IRIS CRM automatically and populate the lead with the information retrieved from the HubSpot deal. The integration also works in the opposite direction. For example, when a new lead is created in IRIS CRM, you can have Zapier add a new subscriber to a MailChimp campaign using the email address retrieved from the lead. The task automation is achieved by creating automation workflows called zaps. A zap consists of a trigger event and one or more actions that take place in the connected apps after the event is triggered. There are many use cases that you may want to explore using Zapier integration. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to connect IRIS CRM with your Zapier account and create zaps for a few very useful scenarios which you can start using right away. To connect IRIS CRM with Zapier, first create an IRIS CRM API token which is used to authenticate your account. Navigate to your user settings page, open the API settings tab, and click on the Create New API Token button. Enter a name for your new token and save it. Now copy the token and click OK to exit. In Zapier, open the Apps page and select the IRIS CRM app. In the pop-up window which appears, enter your domain name, paste the API token, and click the Continue button. Congratulations! The IRIS CRM app has now been connected to your Zapier account. Click the Test button to confirm that the connection is working correctly. You can now continue to add additional apps to your Zapier account, such as MailChimp, HubSpot, and others. With the initial setup completed, we're now ready to start creating zaps. In our first example, let's imagine that you are used to enrolling your leads into a MailChimp campaign as soon as a prospect expresses interest in your services. Without Zapier, sales reps would need to have IRIS CRM and MailChimp open in two browser tabs in order to copy and paste the prospect's information into MailChimp manually. This creates a lot of manual work and the possibility of human error. The new way to do this automatically is to create a zap between IRIS CRM and MailChimp. Your zap would be created to execute as soon as an IRIS CRM lead transitions into a new status state called Interested Merchant. We are now going to create this zap which automatically adds a new subscriber to a MailChimp campaign as soon as a lead is moved into our designated target status. Here's how. In Zapier, make a new zap and select the IRIS CRM app. We'll select the Lead Status Updated trigger event for this zap. Next, we'll select the IRIS CRM user account to use with the zap. Now let's select the previous and the new status states to be used in our flow. We'll select any status state in the previous status box. This will ensure that the zap is triggered when the lead transitions into the interested merchant status from any other lead status. Next, we'll select the interested merchant status in the new status box. At this point we can use the Test and Review button to retrieve a sample lead from IRIS CRM. We will use the sample lead to test the automation flow once the zap is fully configured. Here is the sample lead. We can click on it to view the sample data that will be used in our test. We have now completed the trigger event setup and we can close the trigger settings. Now let's select the action that will take place when a lead status changes to interested merchant status. We'll click on the Edit button and select the MailChimp app. Now we'll select the Add or Update Subscriber action and the MailChimp account to use with the zap. Next, we'll select the MailChimp audience to which the IRIS CRM lead will be enrolled and the email address field to retrieve from the lead. We can optionally map additional MailChimp fields to the IRIS CRM lead fields, such as the first and last name fields. Our new Zap is almost done and we can now test it out using the Test and Review button. A new subscriber has now been added to MailChimp using the information retrieved from the sample lead. We can now turn the Zap on so that it continues to add new subscribers to MailChimp whenever an IRIS CRM lead transitions to the designated status state. Another really valuable example of a Zap is using Contacts Plus to create a new lead by taking a picture of a business card. Imagine that your sales agents are collecting business cards while working with prospects all day. Sales reps are often busy and forget to enter their business cards as leads to IRIS CRM because of the manual data entry involved. Now, with IRIS CRM's Zapier Integration and Contacts Plus, a sales rep can take a picture of a business card while they are on the go and have a lead created from them automatically without any data entry. Let's see how to create a Zap for this scenario in only a couple of minutes. In Zapier, make a new Zap and select the Contacts Plus app. For this Zap, we'll select the New Business Card Transcribed trigger. Next, we'll select the Contacts Plus user account to use with the Zap. If needed, we can select teams or tags from which to import business cards. In our example, we'll leave those empty, which means that our Zap will process all imported business cards. Let's click the Test and Review button to load a sample business card from Contacts Plus. Here is the sample business card. We can click on it to view more detail. We have now completed the trigger event setup and we can close the trigger settings. Now let's select the action that will take place when a new business card is transcribed in Contacts Plus. We'll start by clicking on the Edit button and selecting the IRIS CRM app. Next, we'll select the Create New Lead action and the IRIS CRM user account to use with the Zap. In the next step, we'll fill in the DBA name, group, and the status fields. We'll map the DBA name field to the organization field in Contacts Plus. We'll use the group and status fields to assign the new lead to an IRIS CRM user group and lead status state. Let's also assign the new lead to a sales rep. Now let's take a look at how we can map additional Contacts Plus fields to the IRIS CRM lead. In this example, we'll map the Contacts Plus address fields to the lead address fields. We'll start by clicking on the plus button to add additional IRIS CRM fields to the Zap setup. We'll now select an IRIS CRM lead field in each new box. Next, we'll scroll down to display the Contacts Plus fields, and we'll select the appropriate Contacts Plus address field in each box. We have now mapped the IRIS CRM address fields to Contacts Plus address fields, and our Zap is almost ready. Let's run a quick test of the Zap Flow by clicking on the Test and Review button. A new lead has now been created in IRIS CRM using the information retrieved from the sample business card. Finally, we'll turn the Zap on so that it continues to create new leads in IRIS CRM whenever a new business card is transcribed in Contacts Plus. Let's take a look at another cool example of Zapier integration, this time with Hubspot CRM. Let's imagine your team is using Hubspot CRM for sales management, and you're also using IRIS CRM for merchant boarding and residuals management. When your sales rep makes a new deal in Hubspot, they would need to transfer the merchant's information to the IRIS CRM lead, from where the merchant can be boarded to a processor quickly and easily using IRIS CRM's onboarding tools. By using Zapier, the task of transferring HubSpot deal data to an IRIS CRM lead can be completely automated, eliminating the need for manual entry and any potential errors. Here's how to set up the Hubspot CRM integration with IRIS CRM. In Zapier, make a new Zap and select the Hubspot app. For this Zap, we'll select the New Deal trigger. Next, we'll select the Hubspot user account to use with the Zap. Now let's click on the Test and Review button to retrieve a sample HubSpot deal. We will use the deal to test our flow once the Zap is fully configured. We can click on the deal to view more detail. We have now completed the trigger event setup and we can close the trigger settings. Now let's select the action that will take place when the event is triggered. We'll click on the Edit button and select the IRIS CRM app. We'll select the Create New Lead action and the IRIS CRM user account to use with the Zap. Next, we'll fill in the DBA name, group, and the status fields. We'll map the DBA name field to the deal name in HubSpot. We'll use the group and status fields to assign the new lead to an IRIS CRM user group and lead status state. Let's also assign the new lead to a sales rep. If needed, we can add additional lead fields to our setup using the plus button and then map those fields to the HubSpot deal fields. Our setup is now completed and we can test it out using the Test and Review button. A new IRIS CRM lead has now been created using the information retrieved from the sample HubSpot deal. We can now turn the Zap on, so that it continues to create new leads in IRIS CRM whenever a new deal is created in HubSpot CRM. Thank you for watching, and let us know about useful Zaps that you have created by emailing support@iriscrm.com so that we can create a video tutorial.